Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Chelsea, and if you're new around here, we like to do beauty related content on this channel. If that's something that you like, then please hit subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, then please click on the little bell and you'll be notified of every time that I upload each week. So this is the final part of my swatching my palette series, and this is the £40 plus, so the more high-end palettes. And this one was probably my favourite. I just love my palette collection. I absolutely love it. And from doing this little series, which was inspired by Make Me Up Missa, who I'll link her channel down below, then yeah, I've fallen in love with my palettes again. I know I said that in the past 2 videos. Just in case you haven't watched them, again, I will link them down below and add them to cards, etc, etc. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this series. Sorry that this video is long, but just grab some snacks, grab a cuppa, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's start with the real bougie ones, which is Natasha denona. So we've got a bronze one and we've got a glam one. Let's start off with the bronze one because I've done a video on this one before. This is what it looks like, very chrome packaging, which is hard to see on camera right now. And then opening her up, how beautiful. It's such a perfect summer vibe palette, and the formula is gorgeous as well. Oh, this one. They are so pigmented, and I love this orangey terracotta shade as well. That's beautiful. Yeah, such a beautiful palette. The formula is unreal. Do I think it's worth the price tag? Probably not. However, it is very, very pretty. Then next up we have the Glam palette, which is the cool toned version. I've not actually used this one yet, so let's dive straight into this. Loving the silver packaging as well. And just look, it looks stunning. I actually really need to do a video on this. So let's go in with... Oh, I love that shade. It's a really nice like mink colour. It's similar to the colour that I always use from the Colourpop Go and Coconuts palette. And there's that. Really, really nice formula, super buttery. Then next up we have this iconic London palette. I actually got this in a Glossybox advent calendar, and this is the Day to Slay palette. So I've not actually used this. I was going to declutter it, but a few people told me not to, and to be fair, it does look beautiful inside. I have done a few swatches on this, so I don't know, I'm still undecided, but they do feel super, super soft and buttery. Even the mattes feel really, really soft. Don't really hear a lot of people talk about this palette though, that's the only thing. I used to want it years ago. I'm pretty sure this is like a few years old, but yeah, super duper pigmented though. Look at that, really gorgeous shades, perfect for like neutral and like everyday wear. Next we've got the beloved Carnival XL palette with BPERFECT and Stacey Marie. This is a very, it doesn't look like I've used it a lot compared to some other people's, but I actually have used it quite a bit. It's one of those ones that whenever I go for a colourful look, I tend to go for this one and the Love Tahiti. So a few of my favourite shades. The only thing is the mattes are super duper good, but I don't feel like the shimmers are that incredible. Look how pigmented that was. They are a bit kickbacky, but that just goes to show that they're pigmented. One of my favourite yellows. Some of the shimmers are alright. I feel like the shimmers in this aren't too bad actually, but it's the Love Tahiti palette that they're not that great in. And then you've got 3 highlighters as well, which I absolutely love this light one. If you can see. But yeah, they're just a few of my favourite shades from this palette. And then we've got quite a few ABH ones. I used to love ABH palettes. They were literally my go-to when it came to like high-end palettes whenever they were released. I've missed out on a few because they didn't really stand out to me, but these were my absolute favourite. I used to collect them, and then obviously I've got a few of the big NORVINA ones and the mini NORVINA ones too. So let's start with my first ever high-end palette, which was the ABH Modern Renaissance. Still looks in very good condition. I need to dive back into this, but I don't know, I'm just not really drawn to it that much anymore, to be honest. But my favourite shades were this one. I just love how soft the shimmers are in ABH palettes. Look how pigmented that is. They just don't do eyeshadows like this that often in other brands, I'm telling you. ABH formulas, some of the best for sure. Absolutely crazy, very kickbacky, but super duper pigmented. You only need a light amount of pressure. But even though I don't really reach for this, it's a palette that I could never declutter because it's very nostalgic for me. And then we've got the very controversial Subculture. I actually really like the colour story of this. It screams autumn to me, and yeah, I don't feel like this one really caused me any problems. I rarely reach for my ABH palettes anymore apart from Soft Glam, and I really need to because I do actually love them. Oh, it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This shade, love a bronzy shimmer. Just look at that pigment, seriously. Insane, absolutely insane. That is just next level. I just can't get over, like, swatching these now makes me want to play around with them again because I just can't get over how pigmented these shadows are. Then next we have Prism. Again, it's another palette that nobody really talks about or I haven't really seen much about. This is obviously a few years old and it's quite a unique colour story. And another thing as well that I like about ABH palettes is the fact that you can actually bend them all the way around, so it's so much easier to do makeup with. But yeah, just look at that colour story. It is so unique, especially like I used to love this pop of yellow. Look how pigmented it is. I really need to play with these more because I've actually fallen back in love with them again after swatching these. Like, look at that shimmer. Oh my actual god. I wish I'd done palettes like these again rather than like the big NORVINA ones. Don't get me wrong, I love the big NORVINA ones, but I feel like they need to do more of these again. The original ABH palettes. They've not been around for, I swear, like a few years. Like, I can't even remember the last one. I don't know if it was like AINA one, which was the last one. And then we've got Soft Glam, which is my most used one. I absolutely love this palette so much. I used to use it all the time. Like, it was the neutral palette that I always used to reach for a night out. Just the formula of these are just incredible. Look at that, stunning. And then look at Sienna. It is just a perfect everyday neutral palette. And then we've got Sultry. I prefer this packaging mainly because it doesn't get as mucky as like the velvety ones. But this, I absolutely love this palette as well. This is like the cool toned version of Soft Glam. I really love this silvers and the cool toned browns. But yeah, this palette is so underrated. Let's just swatch these and let me show you. Look at those. I really love this twig shade. Again, it's like that Going Coconuts Colourpop shade that I always say. I really love that in the crease. It's absolutely beautiful, especially with that on the lid. But then I don't get this random pop of like reddy pink in here. But yeah, stunning. And then we've got Riviera, which I don't think I've ever properly used. This one I can't bend all the way back, which is a shame. Look, I've still got the label on the sticker. I bought this when I was in Singapore, I think, because I really wanted it and then just never used it. Even though it's got such vibrant popping colours, I can never think of a look to do. But just look at some of these shades. That is the most pigmented pink I've probably owned. That is just beautiful. Look, they are stunning shades. And then last but not least, we've got the AINA palette, which is definitely one of my favourites in terms of colour story and packaging. Look, I love the rich purples, red, the petrol colour, stunning. So let's just swatch some of these real quick. Some of my favourite shades in here. Like this petrol colour shade, which I've said in a lot of these videos is my favourite kind of shade, and this is just next level pigment. It's a little bit crumbly, but pigment is so there. One ABH palette that I do really want to get is the Amrezy palette still. I haven't got that one yet. I actually bought this one on offer. I think I got it for like £25 or something. And then keeping with the ABH theme, you might as well dive into the big large NORVINAs. So I've actually got 3 of them. I do really want number 3, which is like the orangey and green one. But yeah, so the first one I got is ABH NORVINA Volume 1. And these are literally game changers. They're so unique. And this is the colour story for this one, which is a lot of like purples, pinks, corals. It's just a mixture really. These are such heavy palettes as well, but yeah, these are press pigment palettes, so they do cause staining on the eyes, so take that with what you will. Just look at that neon. These are so soft and buttery as well, super duper pigmented, as you can see. Are incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. You really don't need to touch these with a heavy hand because the pigment is there. Look at that. So this is my favourite shades out of NORVINA 1. And then we've got number 4. So this is like the very spring-esque pink girly palette. Super duper pretty, and it features 2 pressed glitters which are down here. But yeah, this is such a beautiful colour story as well. Just look at that. Look at that pressed glitter. How beautiful. Might as well just do this one as well. How blooming beautiful are they? Absolutely stunning. Just look, the reflect on the shimmers. They're so foiled and beautiful. And then I think my favourite one is the new one, so the Pro Pigment Volume 5 palette, which I've done recently 2 looks 1 palette with. And I just love this colour story. I'm very drawn to purples, especially like this shade purple. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Look how pigmented that is. Such a like baby lavender lilac-y sort of colour. But yeah, the mattes in here are beautiful. They blend out really nicely, and there's a few different formulas in here as well. Again, we've got pressed glitters, we've got like very foily shimmers. Just look at that. Shade in the inner corner is beautiful. That white is really good as well. And then you've even got a beautiful copper, and you know how I feel about coppers. I do think it's a bit random to have that copper in there, but each their own. And then let's go in with this pressed glitter, because literally this pressed glitter does remind me a bit of in the mini NORVINA volume 3, I think it is, with like the reds and the blues, and then they've got that duochrome type glitter. That's what that looks like. But yeah, similar to that. And then let's go on to Melt. So I've got these 2 larger Melt palettes. Let's start with Gemini. This was my first ever Melt palette, and I got it for my birthday last year. And I absolutely love the design of this as well. It's very like grungy, tattooy vibes, and this palette just speaks for itself. Look how stunning it is. I love this colour story. Very autumn, very grungy, which is what Melt really represents to me. And this is probably one of the best formulas that Melt did as well, in my opinion anyway. I love the fact that there is only 2 shimmers in here and the rest are mattes, because a lot of the Melt eyeshadows, there's way more shimmers than what there are mattes. I do really want to get rust as well. Just look, the pigment is insane in this palette. Just look at that. How pigmented are they? Even the 2 shimmers are very foily, the mattes end out like a dream. And then we've got the newest one to my collection, the Mary Jane palette, which is like a cool tone one. It's really reminds me of the Natasha denona GLAM colour story, but yeah, it is stunning. Look at it, it's such a beautiful palette. Again, I've done a video on this, so do check that out and you'll see my thoughts in it, because just look how crumbly the shimmer shade goes. Look, barely touching it, and that's the only thing that's disappointing about this palette, because look, once applying it just flakes off. But the mattes were really nice. Look, super duper pigmented. It's just that I feel like the shimmers really do let this palette down, because even though they are really pigmented, they're so crumbly and dry, so then it's hard to pick up and apply. But when you have got them, then they are super duper beautiful. It's such a hard palette to use, but it's such a stunning palette, so that's why I don't want to declutter it. And plus it's very expensive as well. So if you wanted a cool tone palette, I probably wouldn't recommend this one, if I'm honest. I'd probably recommend the Natasha denona GLAM one, even though it's a little bit more, or Colourpop or something like that, which is a shame really, because this did have really good potential. Then we've got a few HUDA large palettes. So we've got Naughty Nude, Mercury Retrograde, which I've never actually used, so I'm excited to swatch that, Desert Dusk, and Rose Gold Remastered. So let's start with my first ever HUDA palette, which was the Desert Dusk. Just look how that's light is catching the packaging. This is such a beautiful colour story, but I just feel like the pigment isn't always there, especially considering how much it is as well. She definitely has upgraded her pigment, I feel like. That's just not as vibrant as, say, like the ABH ones. And again, very crumbly, but that Celestial shade is just not really picking up. Do you know what I mean? But again, it's just a palette that I just don't want to get rid of. That is just crumbled away, that shimmer. It's not really even applied. And you know I love shimmers, but the shimmers in here aren't that great apart from the copper one. And then you have got a pressed glitter, which is super duper hard and just doesn't really pick up. Look at that. That was a swatch. Considering the ABH and the Colourpop ones that I've already shown you, this palette just isn't it. And then we've got the Rose Gold Remastered. I'm so glad that she revamped this because I didn't get the original one and I wasn't really that interested in it either. When she revamped it, then yeah, I was more interested in it. And this is what it looks like. I never really use these palettes, to be honest. The shimmers in here are a lot better than the Desert Dusk palette. They are super duper soft and buttery, which obviously you can start to tell. But yeah, for the price tag, there's definitely better quality out there. But yeah, this is so much better than Desert Dusk. Yeah, I think I will just declare Desert Dusk because I don't feel like it adds anything to my collection. It's just a really pretty to look at. And then we've got Mercury Retrograde, which I've not even unboxed. And I bought this on Black Friday, I think. I think it was down to like 20 odd quid, which is a bargain because they're usually like 50 odd. And the packaging in this is beautiful, and just look at it, it is stunning. Such a beautiful palette. So go on, let's swatch this for the first time, shall we? Oh wow, that's a beautiful shade. Oh wow, oh my god, that is so beautiful. It's a bit glittery, but it's so beautiful. That'd be really nice on the inner corner. Okay, let's do this one. Wow. These are stunning. Why have I not used this yet? Even the mattes are super duper pigmented. Look at that. Okay, let's test out a lilac because lilacs aren't always pigmented. Okay, that's a nice one. Oh, that's a really nice shimmer as well. Let's go with this neutral shimmer. Oh, wow. Okay, I need to get this on my eyes ASAP. Let's go with this dark shade. Oh my god, just like this one is my favourite. Okay, I need this all over my lid. And I need to bath in it. And then we've got the newest bigger one, which is the Naughty Nude, and I did a video on this last year when it first came out, and I absolutely really love this palette. Yeah, even this like glossy shade, which is really bizarre, but it makes a really good base. It doesn't really have much pigment in it. That's the only thing. I think it's a bit pointless, but yeah, that as a base I reckon could be quite nice, or even as a lip gloss. I just don't really see the point in it, but I think some people are being a bit dramatic. Just look at that pigment. Oh my actual god. And this shade was beautiful as well, this marble shade, and this shade, which is another marble shade, which is a bit like petrol. But just look at that pigment, it's insane. Now let's go on to P. Louise. I've got 3 large P. Louise palettes. So this one is Worldy. I believe she's discontinuing this, but I've yet to use it, which is quite naughty really, isn't it? I was saving it for a video and then it just never happened. So let me know if you want to see a video on it. But this packaging is just insane with the pink sand in it. I love this colour story as well, so I don't know why I've not used it yet. But it's even got the protective thing still in it. This is what the palette on the inside looks like. How stunning is it? I love the pops of greens and blues, and I believe this was her first palette that involved shimmers. Yeah, let's dive straight in. I just love that khaki olivey shimmer. It's such a beautiful shimmer. Why have I not used this before, please? Because it is very, very nice quality by the looks of the swatches. Super duper pigmented. I don't feel like she would bring out crap either, to be honest. But yeah, just look at those. How nice are they? And then we've got the Cancelled palette, which I feel like is a really good palette for if you're doing clients or love like soft glam looks and things like that. Because just look, it's got a tone for everyone. It's got so many neutral shades, and yeah, like I said, so many different undertones for these neutral shades as well. It's not just your normal browns, it's like all sorts of browns. You've got purpley browns, orangey browns, yellowy browns, and things like that. So yeah, there's quite a lot of choice in here. And I'm pretty sure I have done a video on this. If I have, again, I'll just link it down below. They are super duper pigmented. Just look at those. Beautiful. So yeah, if you're looking for a neutral palette. And then we've got the newest one to my collection, which is the All I See Is Signs palette, which again, I've done a 2 looks 1 palette with this. Again, I love the packaging on this with all the money signs in between like the casing. And I think this is Okay, this one has got to be my favourite one. Just look at all those warm tones, those beautiful oranges and coppers and golds. They are beautiful, and the formula on this is probably her best yet actually, because I think these are literally, she's nailed the shimmer shadows now. Since doing the mini love tape, she has really hit the jackpot with these shimmers. They are so foily and soft and pigmented, and you don't need a lot. You can pick them up with your brush and they'll still be perfect. Just look at those. It's absolutely beautiful palette. Yeah, she's definitely nailed the formula now. And then we've got two Made by Mitchell large ones as well, which in my last video you would have seen that I've got the mini one. I've also got the two large ones. I can't wait till he brings out another palette, because I feel like, you know, he's nailed the blush side of things, and now I just feel like he just needs more palettes, because his palettes are beautiful. The only thing that I'll say about these is I feel like the layout of them is a little bit hectic for my pea-sized brain, and I feel like there'd be so much more better, and I'd have so much more inspiration if they were like in order. Do you know what I mean? In colour order or something like that, and not with like this chaotic background as well, because I actually really like, there's so many beautiful colours in here, but I struggle to find inspiration because of the fact it's just so chaotic. Just look at the formula of these. He has literally, considering these are his first palette, he has definitely nailed the formula of this, especially of the shimmers. Look at those. That is a perfect inner corner highlight. Always on the hunt for a good one of those, I'm telling you. Just look at the pigment is definitely there. Considering these are his first palette, like he has actually smashed it. And then we've got Feet on the Ground, which I love this one. So this is what this one looks like. And it's very much like your neutral one out of the two, because you've got like the browns and the khakis and things like that. So there's that shade. I love the fact that the pans are so big as well, so you actually do get what you pay for. You get quite a lot of pigment for your money. Wow, look at that. Really lovely colour story of this one. Absolutely love it. And next we've got a hell of a lot of Jeffree Star palettes. Obviously, I am an avid fan of Jeffree Star quality and makeup and things like that. I know a lot of people don't really like Jeffree Star, so this is the last bunch of palettes. I've got quite a few, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his larger palettes. So yeah, I'm just going to get swatching. So my first ever Jeffree Star palette I did actually sell, which was the androgyny one. Just trying to think what one was next. I'm pretty sure it might have been Blue Blood. I can't remember. But yeah, this is Blue Blood. It is your perfect blue palette. The formula is beautiful. Well, I'd say it's beautiful, but I definitely think it's a lot better now, his formula. Yeah, I definitely haven't reached for this as much as I should have done. The mattes are really nice in this palette. And I know that he's just released singles for a lot of them as well. That one's a beautiful shimmer down there. That's beautiful. Yeah, the quality of the shadows has definitely improved over the years, I feel like. But yeah, it's a really nice blue palette if you're looking for a blue palette. And then we've got Conspiracy, which I don't know, with everything that went on, I was really tempted to declutter this, but I feel like it's got such a unique colour story that I really don't want to get rid of it. I really like this colour story. I just feel like it's so different, and some of the shades are so random, yet they work. And there's so many different looks that you can create out of this palette. So yeah, I definitely need to use it more. That's for sure. I just don't know whether to use it on my channel or not. Just look at the quality of these shadows. I just love this shimmer. It's such a unique shimmer. But yeah, there's so many different looks that you can create, from just like neutral looks to fun, colourful, to hot and spicy, to cool tones. They've got a black, there's a shimmer white. So yeah, they did really think of a lot of different colour combinations. Alien, which I actually brought for an absolute bargain second hand. So yeah, I think I bought this for like a tenner, which is amazing because this is discontinued now, so it's gone for like 60 quid on Depop. I don't get why I didn't buy it first off, but I love this colour story as well. Greens and purples together really does speak to me. Yeah, when I bought this palette, it's barely been used. Just look at that shade. That shade is beautiful. It's like a duochrome goodness. Yeah, I don't think I've even used this palette yet, to be fair. So a lot of the shades aren't even touched. Like that shade there is amazing. You can't deny his formula is excellent. And then we've got Jawbreaker, which again, the quality on this is amazing. It's such a fun, pretty palette. Definitely a lot of different colour combinations you can do with this. But some of my favourite shades have got to be this one. Oh, just look at that. Considering some of these are like pastel shades as well, they are very pigmented. Like, look at those. Like, those 4 colours there are speaking to me now to create a look with. Delicious. Just look at that. That is a shimmer and a half. And then let's do one more shimmer. Just look at that. Such beautiful shades. Again, his palettes are so unique. The colour stories are literally unreal. And then to go with Jawbreaker, we've got Cremated, which again was very, how should we put it, controversial during a pandemic. But this is what the palette looks like. And yeah, I've only used this once and it's really annoying because I actually filmed a whole video using this. And then my memory card and my camera broke and I lost all the footage and I haven't touched it since. Which is so annoying because as soon as you use the pans, they just lose the stamp that's in them, which is so annoying because PLOUISE one doesn't now, but Jeffree stars do. And yeah, it's just so annoying because the palette it is still beautiful, but with all the stamps in, when the palettes are fresh, it is stunning. And that's when I like to film with the palette. I don't like to use it until I filmed with it. But yeah, I lost all the footage, which I'm quite gutted about. So let me know if you still want to see a video on this. But like I've said before, I love cool tones and the formula of these are absolutely amazing. Look at that. And again, there's so many different tones of the cool tones. Like you've got brownie greys, khaki greys, bluey greys. Yeah, there's a lot of looks that you can create. Oh, just look at those. They're so foily and beautiful, and yeah. And then we've got the Bloodlust palette, which again I bought second hand, but this packaging is so unique. And you know me, I love purples. It's just beautiful. I think this is when he really stepped up his shimmers. Even though it's a purple palette, it has got pops of like teal and greens and things like that. Like that sparkly black, don't know if you can really tell, is stunning. And then last but not least, my newest one, so the new large one, is the Blood Money palette, which I got for Christmas. And I can never open this. And this is probably my favourite colour story out of them all. And the formula as well is unreal. I've done a video on this, which I need to do another one because it is beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to also leave me a comment down below if there's anything you want to see, or any of these your favourite palettes. What are your favourite palettes? Do let me know and let's talk down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!